All right, so we've got a fella here wanting to buy a TV, and this TV cost 1,100 bucks, and he saved up $800, so he needs $300 more. He goes to a bank and he figures out he can get the 300 bucks at 10% annual interest. That's an annual interest rate, and it's a 90-day promissory note. Now, if you go through here and calculate that, that's around $308, right? And that's not what this video is for. This video is for part 3, because these two parts are pretty easy to figure out from the textbook. So he goes to a payday loan store, you know, those check today check cashing places, and they're a big ripoff. And here's why. And this is actually cheap for one of these places. But he goes and he says that, well, they'll loan you the 300 bucks at 10%, same as the bank, right? Wrong. It's only for 2 weeks. They're going to charge you 10% for 2 weeks. So if you calculate 10% on $300, 2 weeks is going to cost you $330, or essentially $30 in interest versus $8 in interest. Now here at the bank, you get 3 months, 90 days, almost 12 weeks, pretty much 12 weeks to pay this off, and it's $8 in interest. This guy, you only get 2 weeks to pay it off, and it's 30 bucks in interest, which is, that's not as good. That's not a good deal at all. So, but sometimes people can't get a loan from the bank. They have to go to these people here because of their credit scores and that kind of nature. But he wondered if he needed more time. He asked them, and they said, well, they charge 18% on the balance due each additional week. And so the idea at the bank is you have 90 days, and at the end of 90 days, you pay back $308. Well, here, you pay back $330 at the end of 2 weeks. And if you carried it the whole 12 weeks like you could at the bank, then it's 18% each week. So how do you calculate what that would be at the end of 12 weeks? Well, compare that to the bank. Well, let me do it by hand first. I used Excel to figure it out. But basically what you need to do is week 1 and week 2. At the end of week 2, it's $330. That's what your balance is there. Now, so if you carry that for one more week, you've got to take your $330, times it by the 0.18, because that's what the interest rate is per week, which is horrible. Now, if you multiply that out, you're going to get $59.40. All right, now you add that back to the previous week's total, and you get $389.40. And that's what I used Excel to do. So the next week, on week 4, you take that principal now and multiply it by 0.18. Next week, the interest is now at $70.09. Add that back to last week's principal, and you wind up with $459.49. Now, there's actually a faster way of doing this. Instead of multiplying it and getting your interest and then adding it back, you could actually, instead of saying 330 times 0.18, take 330 times 1.18, because what the idea here is it's 18 cents on the dollar. So for every dollar over here, you're charged 18 cents. And what happens is, if you put the 1 in front, you don't have to re-add it back, right? You still get the same. You get the answer really quick. So that's what the formula I used up here in the Excel spreadsheet was. So if I come to week 5, I take my $459.49. I'm going to times it by 1.18 instead, and just get straight to $542.20. Okay, and you do that all the way down to week 12, and you wind up with $1,727.17. So if you don't take into account the $300, that's $1,400 in interest alone. That's more than the TV was. So this payday loan places are horrible places to get a loan. And the idea here is called compound interest. The idea here is compound interest because what's happening is your interest is compounding. Every time you multiply by your interest rate, you're actually multiplying the last interest in that. right? You're making interest on your interest. That's kind of the catchphrase that people say about compounding interest. You're earning interest on your interest because every week I add that interest back in, and then I multiply it by the interest rate. So I keep on getting bigger and bigger and bigger values, and that's what people use to create their retirement accounts and are able to retire. It's because they keep on investing, and over the years their interest draws interest every year. So right now this is all you have to calculate this, but in the next chapters you'll find that there's actually a formula for this. It's called the compound interest formula, and you can Google it if you want to find that too. But it's the next chapter they explain it a little bit more in depth.